channel where we're all about self-development, love, positivity, and everything in that vicinity. In today's story time, we're going to be talking about a tricky little situation that I was in when I was like, I want to say 18 or 19, around in that age area, and it was a really bad situation. And it was probably one of my probably the only relationship I ever actually regretted being in. But yeah, if you're new to this channel, then go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you are notified whenever I post a video. We do story times here only on Sundays. Sometimes you'll get a vlog on Sundays if I don't have a story time prepared. And then most of the time though, we're talking about girl boss stuff, motivational stuff, business tips, self-development, you know, just stuff for girl bosses. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the video. So a disclaimer before we even get started with this, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that I was not 100% innocent in this situation. Well, in the situation I was innocent, but when it comes to this relationship and things that happened between me and this person, I was not 100% innocent. And the reason why I say that is because this is like just before we even get into the story, I'm going to go ahead and take responsibility for my part, and that is that I got into a relationship with this person knowing that I was still had feelings for the guy in my last video about an ex-boyfriend, where I told you guys about the guy who cheated on me with the guy. I still had strings attached to him. I wasn't talking to him, I wasn't flirting with him, nothing like that, but I still had feelings for him. And that is why I should have never gotten into a relationship with this guy, because my heart was not completely in it. Okay, so let's get into the story time. Let's see, where do I even really start? I guess I'll start, we started talking or dating or whatever. And we had issues before the night in question. You know, little issues, little knick-knack issues here and there, simple things. Like, it was clear to me that he did not trust me. I didn't know why. I was very honest with him. When it came to the guy that I was still in love with, that I still had feelings for, from the last video, like I said, I talked to him about it. He asked me straight up, do you still have feelings for him? When he asked me, I was like in a place where I was torn. I really didn't know how I felt, and so I told him I didn't know. And throughout the whole time, like before and after this relationship, I was back and forth. Sometimes I thought I was in love with him still. Sometimes I thought I was over him. Sometimes I just didn't know how I felt. So when he asked me, I said I don't know, because I didn't know. I told him, you know, like sometimes, and I told him, I remember the conversation. It was the week of Christmas, and I said, I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm still in love with him. Sometimes I think I'm completely over him. I really don't know. But, and then we kind of moved on. We never really talked about it again. And this is when we had been only dating for a couple weeks at this point when he asked me that question. So this is a couple weeks after that. And we had been having little arguments here and there, but nothing really serious, nothing worth breaking up over. And then one night before the night in question, I texted him and I was like, hey, what you doing? And he said, I'm sitting in my room alone in the dark. And the only reason I'm telling you the story is going to be relevant later. But because so then, you know, he said I was sitting alone at home in the dark. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we moved on with the conversation. But then he was friends with my best friend, and me and her were roommates at the time. And she was like, he said he was sitting at home alone in the dark. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, he just Snapchatted me, and he was in a room with a bunch of people, and there was a girl next to him or behind him or something like that. And it looked like a girl that he used to be involved with. So I was like, so I snapped at him about it or whatever, and he was like, oh, well, when I told you I was in the room in the dark, and then I went into the other room, they called me in there, something like that. Something he said. And he was like, but nothing happened between me and her. I didn't even really talk to her for real. I didn't say nothing. I was like, okay, cool, whatever, that's fine. I wasn't as emotionally attached to him. So even though I didn't even 100% believe him, I also didn't care that much. And this was like a sign to me. Honestly, this is like one of the signs that happened that made me realize I was not as into him as he was into me, and I needed to, you know, do something about that. But he had been my friend before we started dating, and I was struggling with whether or not I wanted to continue with the relationship and just see if I start falling for him or let it go because I didn't want it to end badly. So anyway, that's beside the point. Fast forward to the night in question. We were supposed to be having a game night. So it wasn't just me and him. It was me, him, my best friend's friend. My sister was there. And somebody else was there. I don't really remember. There was people there. It was a little group of us. And we were having game night. And the night started pretty badly because one of my guy friends called me And he said, what did he say? Oh, we were just talking. I put him on speakerphone, and he was talking to everybody in the room because everybody in the room knew who he was. Everybody in the room knew him. But, I didn't even give him a name. The guy who I was dating, we'll call him Ashton. Ashton knew who he was, but didn't like him because he had a reputation of being a little... So, I wasn't really worried about his reputation because I know that I didn't want him. So, he's on the phone and he's like, we're talking, we're laughing. He's talking to everybody else. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's joking, whatever, and what have you. And then he comes in the room and he's looking at me and he's like, you better get the F off the phone right now. And I was like, word? Now, mind you, this was before I am the person that I am now. But I was growing up a little bit because I did not want to embarrass him in front of people, so I decided not to react in that moment. I just was like, I'll call you back, and I hung up the phone. And he had attitude after that. And it was just kind of like some little snippet stuff that he was throwing at me the whole night. I was trying not to react to it because we were in front of a bunch of people, but it got to the point where he was giving me attitude and throwing these little snippets at me. Everybody else in the room was noticing. And people are now looking at me in the room, and they're looking at me like kind of like side-eyed because most of the people in the room knew me. And that normally he would have been getting some words, but I was trying to grow up. I mean, I hadn't yet, but I was trying to. You're going to know why I haven't yet soon. But like, I hadn't yet grown up, but I was trying to. So I did not want to snap on him in front of people. And one of the particular things that he did when I finally like was kind of like done with him for the night was when he was about to walk out of the room. And what did he say? Oh, I was like, somebody knocked on the door, and he went to go answer it, and somebody was like, dang, you got all the gifts, you got all the guests, don't you, Ashley? And he was like, oh yeah, sometimes I have guests on Thursday nights. And he kind of like gave me the side eye. Thursday night was that night when he told me that he was sitting in his room in the dark, but he was in that other room with that girl. Shade? Yes. But only me, him, and my best friend picked up on it, because we was the only ones who knew what he was talking about. So I was just like, when I looked at him, I said, really, Ashton? And that was like my only response to him that whole night about the foolishness that he was doing. I probably rolled my eyes a whole bunch of times, but that was pretty much the only verbal response. I was like, really, Ashton? And he didn't say nothing, and he just kind of like smiled it or laughed it off or whatever and went into the other room. I was pissed, but I intended to talk to him about it the next day when everybody was gone. But after that, he started passing me alcoholic beverages. We all decided to drink a little bit. I hadn't planned on drinking that much, but he started giving me drinks. They were little coolers and stuff, so it would take a while for you to really get drunk off of them. But he was passing them to me and passing them to me and passing them to me. And it wasn't until recently that I was told by somebody else who was there that he actually, because I don't really remember that night, because like I said, he was just passing me drinks, that he actually left to go get more alcohol. And when he came back, he literally kept going back and forth to the alcohol to give it to me when I looked like I was running low. I didn't ask for none of it. I wasn't even thinking about it because I was paying attention to the games he was playing. I was paying attention to what we were doing. So I'm sitting there drinking or whatever. I have my phone in my hand. And I end up going to sleep. Like, I ended up getting so drunk, my stomach started hurting. When I get too drunk, you guys, my stomach starts hurting. I don't get the next day, like, I don't get the headaches, anything like that. I get nausea. So I went down and I lay down and I ended up going to sleep. When I went to sleep, this much I remember, and this much, everybody else who was there, they remember when I went to sleep, my phone was literally in my hand because I was like on Snapchat. I don't know what I was doing, but I was on my phone. And I went to sleep with my phone in my hand. Pass out. I wake up early the next morning and my phone's no longer in my hand. And I'm looking for it because I'm like waking up. The first thing you do, you wake up, you check your phone. So I'm like reaching around for my phone. Where's my phone? And then I realized I don't have it. And as soon as I realized I didn't have it, I was like, Ashton has my phone. Like, I instantly knew he had my phone. I had no idea why. I didn't even really think anything other than Ashton has my phone. So I get up, and I wasn't even that suspicious about it because, first of all, I had just woken up. My mind was not working yet. But second of all, he had my password, and I always opened all of my text messages, answered the phone, everything right in front of him. There was never anything to hide. I would be sitting there on my phone, and you know where Ashton would be? Right behind me, looking at my phone also. This is something he did on a regular basis. That was one of the reasons that I knew he did not trust me. Now, why he did not trust me, I honestly cannot tell you, because I never did anything sneaky. I was never dishonest. I never lied to him. I was so upfront, and I would tell him what's up, even if it hurt his feelings. I am not sensitive enough not to tell you what's up, even if it hurts your feelings. Like, I'm genuinely, it may not be a great thing, but I am not somebody who thinks about how somebody is going to feel before I tell them what's up. I don't do that. It's sad, and I wish I did sometimes, but I'm really not good at it. Like, if I'm thinking something, I'm feeling something, you're going to know. And if you don't like it, then that's kind of tough. So, anyway, off topic a little bit. So I went into the kitchen. He's sitting on the floor in the kitchen with my phone in his hand. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, why he look like a sad puppy? Like, what happened? And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm thinking about my text message, and like, I wasn't flirting with nobody. I wasn't talking to nobody. Blah, 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 blah. What did he look through? What messages? What Snapchats? Like, what? So I asked him, I'm like, what's up? And my best friend had just left. I guess they were like talking to each other, like he was talking to her about it or whatever. And he said to me, what did he say? Oh, he said, I looked through your phone. I saw your conversation with this guy. We'll call him Michael. With this guy named Michael. And you told him that you were still in love with your ex. And I was like, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, when I had that conversation? That wasn't that. And then I remembered 3 weeks before the conversation, before that day, it was like 3 weeks before, I was texting my ex, and we have a mutual friend, and me and the mutual friend were talking on my ex's phone, because at the time our mutual friend didn't have a phone. So he was texting me on my ex's phone. He always deleted our text messages once we got finished talking or whatever, but we would have conversations through his phone. And I was texting him through my ex, and he was asking me, you know, like, he was like, oh, he's still in love with you. And I was like, oh, I'm still in love with him too, but you know, this, that, and the other. You know, I'm explaining how I feel, and I said I was still in love with him. But this was 3 weeks beforehand. 3 weeks beforehand. Me and this guy had only been dating for not even a month yet. So it was like 3.5, 4 weeks that me and him had started dating. And I'm sitting there thinking about what he's saying. And I'm like, and he's like, he said, you know, you told me that you weren't, or no, you didn't tell me that you were still in love with him when I asked you, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm sitting there listening to his point of view. I'm listening to what he's saying. He gave me the little speech or whatever. And I was like, okay, there are multiple reasons why I have an issue. I started off calm. I was like, there are multiple reasons why I have an issue. First being that you felt the need to take my phone while I was sleeping. Like, at this time, I hadn't even put together that he had gotten me drunk. So I was like, you felt the need to take my phone while I was sleeping when you could have just asked me for it. I would have given it to you, I promise. I would have, if you had questions or anything like that, you should have asked me. You have the password to my phone. Your fingerprint is in my phone. I open all my messages in front of you. Clearly, I'm not trying to hide anything from you. You should know the type of person I am, because we've been friends for how long? You should know that I'm not going to lie. I'm not sneaky or anything like that. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the problem? That's first. Second of all, me and my ex, we were friends. He knew we were friends. He was cool with the fact that we were friends. He was friends with some of his exes too. We were friends. And there was no flirting or anything like that. He ain't find none of that. He didn't find no flirting. He ain't find no hard eyes. He ain't find no pictures being sent. None of that. He found this conversation from 3 weeks prior. The reason why this disturbed me is because me and this person, we talked every single day. A lot. Like, we had a lot of conversations. A lot about his personal stuff that he had going on with his life and his situation. And I was like, you had to have been scrolling for hours to have found a text message from 3 weeks ago. That was like my first issue. I was like, why are you scrolling so much through my phone? When you see that we're not flirting, you should have stopped. You should have left it alone at that, because I know that you saw that we had a lot of personal conversations that don't have nothing to do with me and really don't have nothing to do with you. So why did you keep going? That was my second issue. My third issue was, we have a serious issue if you don't trust me to this point. To the point where you feel the need to go through all of my, not just some, but all of my text messages. Because he also went through the text messages of me and my friend who I was on the phone with earlier. He went through every single message that me and him had. He scrolled all the way to the tippy top, and you know what he found? Nothing. Like, he found nothing. I kept asking, I was like, did you find me flirting? Did you find me sending hard eyes? Did you find them flirting with me even? Because even they knew that I don't play those kind of games. Like, why are you looking through my phone? So I was like, I said, I think the most thing that he saw that might have made him mad was I talked to my other guy friend about him once or twice because he had irritated me, and I was like, let me tell you what this nigga did. But okay, so you don't like that, I understand. But like, he didn't even mention that. He just talked about the one conversation I had with Michael. And I was like, okay, when you asked me if I was still in love with my ex, I said I didn't know. When I was having that, that's how I felt when you asked me. When I had this conversation with Michael, which was another time, it wasn't even a couple days within each other, it was another time, I felt differently. I didn't lie to him, I didn't lie to you. I'm not being confusing, I'm not leading you on. You knew how I felt when we got into this. I talked to Ashton about my ex all the way through up until we actually started dating ourselves. So there was nothing about my relationship with my ex that he didn't know. He knew what strings were connected. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, I didn't lie to you. I wasn't dishonest. I was like, I'm sorry that I've hurt you in this way, but I don't think that this was the right way to go about it. And, you know, he's not very good at owning up to his wrongs or what he did or anything like that. So he started to try to place blame, make it seem like I'm just a bad guy, he did nothing wrong, and he had every right to go through my phone without my permission, all this other stuff. And I'm just like, look. And this is when the immature me kind of came out, because I got frustrated. I don't remember if the argument, I don't know if we like argued for a long time, or if we like left and then came back and argued again. I don't remember, but I know that at some point I got really pissed off and I left. And I went to go hang out with my other guy friend. That was partially the childishness in me, because the only reason it wasn't the only reason. He was also the only other friend besides my best friend that I would have hung out with. But the other reason though was that I wanted to piss him off as badly as he pissed me off. So I went to him and he grabbed my phone. He put himself on my Snapchat, whatever, and what have you. We went to the mall. We were just doing what we do, which is nothing. We just walk around in the mall, people watch, talk crap about people, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, he's a goofball, so he was pretty much making jokes about this, that, and the other. And he put himself on my Snapchat, which of course pissed Ashton off, like to the core. He was so mad. And I just didn't care, because I was like, first of all, you really invaded my privacy. You really went too far. And by this time, I was starting to put together that he had gotten me drunk on purpose. That this was not an accident. This is not something that he did. I was sitting there thinking, like, the only reason I fell asleep is because I got so drunk. And I was like, and I hadn't intended on getting drunk. And I was sitting there thinking, like, why was I drinking so much? And then I just started to remember him I would be in the middle of playing a game and I'd be putting a drink down and he would literally be putting another one in my hand. Like, that's what was going on the whole night. I'm not paying attention because I trust him. And so I'm not thinking that he's going to do anything to me. I'm thinking, you know, he's drinking, so he wants everybody to be drinking too. Like, I'm not thinking anything of it. And then I realized, as soon as I fell asleep, he took my phone and he went out into the kitchen with it. And I'm just like, who does this? Like, why are you taking my phone? So I'm just like, so I was heated by them, because I'm just like, this dude intentionally got me drunk so he could steal my phone to look through it. You are a psycho. He is a psycho. And so I was like pissed off about that. Finally, we go back, we argue some more, but then I don't know if we squashed it or we fixed the situation. I don't remember what happened, but we weren't angry with each other anymore. And I guess I forgave him, even though he said I'm sorry, but he didn't really take responsibility for it. He was the type of person who said, oh, I'm sorry, but basically if you had done this and I would have done this and da-da-da-da-da, so it's really your fault. Like, you know, that kind of thing. That's the type of person he is. He's so narcissistic. Oh my God, it's crazy. And I didn't actually realize that until much, much later, when I realized that he never takes responsibility for any of the things that he does, unless he has no choice, like unless he's backed into a corner and he has to. But he'll take no responsibility and carry that to the grave, and he'll cry even if he has to and still be lying. So after that, though, not too long after that, we had a pregnancy scare. And I was freaked out because I was thinking that me being pregnant would end up with me being around and with and having to deal with him from then on. And that idea freaked me out. My best friend will tell you, if my best friend, like when she watches this video, if I get anything wrong, any details that I missed or any details that I mixed up, whatever, she gonna put it in the comments. So y'all gonna see anything that I effed up on, because, you know, this is working on a memory from like 4 or 5 years ago. And I don't even talk to this person no more. So, yeah. She'll tell you, though, I sat inside of a Red Lobster with her telling her I am freaked out because I cannot see myself with him for the rest of my life. I was sitting there thinking, like, oh my God, like if we have a baby, like that's just it. Like, it's him forever. Like, I have to at least try to make this thing work now. And once, what happened with the baby happened, I wasn't having a baby or whatever, and I broke up with him. I said, I can't do this. I think that we should just stay friends, because if we don't stay friends, because if we don't just stay friends now, we'll ruin our friendship later, and we won't be able to stay friends. So I'm thinking that's the end of this. I'm thinking that's the end of the me and him thing. We had only been dating for a month and a half, tops. I'm not even sure if it was a month and a half. It might have been just a month. I'm really not even 100% sure, but I know it wasn't 2 months. I know we didn't even make it that far. So I'm thinking, we only dated for like a bit. It barely even counts. So like, it's fine. We're cool. It's whatever. Come to find out, then I found out, that's when the rumors started spreading and things started getting a little ugly. And I didn't notice all the rumors, and I didn't even correct any of the rumors when I started hearing them. I didn't care, to be honest, because I knew what happened, and I wasn't really stressed about it. I had moved on with my life. I wasn't that into him, and I didn't live in the same place as him anymore. Like, I had moved away from my hometown and moved here to Georgia. So I wasn't stunting what anybody back in Alabama had to say. I really didn't care. But he told people that I cheated on him. I don't know who he says I cheated on him with. I don't know if he's saying it was my guy friend or if it was my ex. I don't know who he's saying I cheated with. I'm not sure how he's saying I cheated. I don't know what kind of cheating he says I did. I don't know if he's saying I was talking to somebody else or flirting with somebody else or actually did something. I don't know, because he never owned up to that in front of me. He was pretending to be my friend the whole time he's telling people I'm cheating on him. So, and then, there was that, and then there was, the whole, he broke up with me because I cheated on him, and I was sitting there thinking, I broke up with him. But these type of details don't matter to me. Okay, you broke up with me, whatever, we broke up. That's really all I care about. We're not together anymore, I'm moving on. That's all that matters. I'm not into that whole, I broke up with him, no, I broke up with her type thing, because that's childish to me. That's stupid. And so when I found out, they were he said he broke up with you because you cheated on him. And I heard this from multiple sources. People were just like, why did you do him like that? You really hurt him, and blah, 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 blah. And I did hurt him. Don't get me wrong. I believe, honestly, that I did hurt him, but not in the way that they were saying. So I'm sitting there thinking, everybody's just like, oh, you hurt him. There were people who genuinely didn't want to talk to me no more. But I wasn't worried, because first of all, the people who mattered knew me and know what kind of person I am, and knows that I'm not deceitful, I'm not dishonest, none of that. He just said that to save face and all of that other stuff. I don't even really know what his motives were for telling people I cheated on him. I think he may actually truly believe it. I don't know if maybe in his mind, me admitting that I have feelings for somebody else is cheating. I don't really know, because his mind, I feel like things don't connect. So I really don't know. But I know that was what was spread around. There were a lot of people who had judgments about me, and some still have judgments about me to this day, based off of what he said and based off of the way that I had been portrayed in that situation. And I didn't make it any better, because I never defended myself. When people were telling me these things for a long time, I was just kind of letting it be, because I did not care. I was just like, they were just like, I cheated on him? Interesting. Okay. I was like, all right then, whatever. I don't really care. And there's like, oh, he broke up with me. Really now? Okay. I'm just like, whatever. It really doesn't matter. I don't really care about what people think. He can lie about me all he wants to. That's his business. But this is what I'm telling you is what actually happened. And if I get any details wrong, like I said, my best friend will correct me in the comment section below, because she watches all my videos just like I watch all of hers. Shout out to you, best friend. And yeah, so the other thing is, I think that was pretty much it. After that, that's not even what ended our friendship, crazily enough. We stayed friends. Even after I learned all of these things that he was saying about me, I kind of let it go. I didn't care, like I said. So we stayed friends until something else happened. Things were happening with him and other people, and it pissed me off to the point where I was just like, okay, I can't mess with you no more. That's pretty much the story of how somebody got me drunk so they could look through my phone. And yeah, so tell me your thoughts. Have you guys ever been through anything crazy like this? I've been through things crazier than this, actually. The story times I got for y'all. But yeah, so yeah, share your thoughts about the situation below. Like I said, I take my responsibility for it. I should have never been with him and had feelings for somebody else. I should have never gone down that route. It was a mistake. I thought that being with him was a good idea. I thought we'd grow into something because we had such a great friendship. I thought that making it a relationship would make it even better. Woo, I was so wrong. But yeah, I take responsibility for that. If he took responsibility for all the psycho stuff he did throughout our relationship, then maybe, you know, responsibilities will be weighed equally across the board. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Yeah, I don't have anything against this person. I have no malice towards him. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I don't like him. I don't have any feelings towards him at all. We're not in each other's lives. Comment down below all of your thoughts. If you have not subscribed up to this point, then go ahead and subscribe so you do not miss Storytime Sundays. All the other videos are pretty much about self-development, girl boss stuff, you know, stuff of that nature, because, you know, girl bosses, we trying to get out here and stuff, like, and stuff. So, give it a thumbs up, and if you are not new here, then thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this long behind video. Thank you for loving me as much as I love you, and I will see you guys in the next video.